The 10 world's oldest civilizations. Early Homo sapiens, or modern humans, are very recent. They first appeared in Africa around 200,000 years ago. The earliest hominid or human-like species first appeared around 2 million years ago. Thousands of years after Homo sapiens first appeared, early man developed agriculture, weapons, art, social structure, and politics, laying the groundwork for what would eventually become human civilization. This list includes various previous peoples who established sophisticated communities and cultures that can also be categorized as civilizations, even though the Mesopotamians are widely thought to be the world's first urban civilization. Acadian Empire, 2334 BCE to 2154 BCE. Location: Mesopotamia, the Levant, and Anatolia, modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. Important accomplishments: one of the first empires in history. The Acadian Empire is frequently referred to as the first empire ever. The empire encompassed Mesopotamia, the Levant, and Anatolia, modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, uniting Akkadian and Sumerian speakers under a single system of government. The citizens of the empire spoke Sumerian and Akkadian and wrote in the Akkadian form of cuneiform, combining two distinct yet comparable cultures. The Indus Valley Civilization, which is nearby, and the Akkadians had frequent trade. The Sumerians and Akkadians had an abundance of agricultural goods, which they exchanged for building materials including stone, wood, and metal ores. The artisans of the Akkadian Empire produced numerous exquisitely carved seals and cast metal statues. Assyria in the north and Babylon in the south were two notable empires that emerged after the collapse of the Akkadian Empire. Ancient Egyptians, 3150 BCE to 332 BCE. Location: Nile River Valley of Egypt. Civilization began approximately 3150 BCE when King Menes united Upper and Lower Egypt and founded a capital city at White Walls, later known as Memphis. The ancient civilizations that are best known today are possibly the Egyptians. While they accomplished a number of social, cultural, and political accomplishments, the Great Pyramids, which have withstood the test of time and continue to be one of the world's 7 wonders, are what they are most famous for. The ancient Egyptians created building methods that allowed them to construct enormous constructions including pyramids, temples, and obelisks. They also developed irrigation systems, the first known planked boats, glass technology, a system of mathematics, a practical and effective system of medicine, new forms of writing, and irrigation systems. Many modern-day inventions, including coins, paper, door locks, alarm clocks, concrete, and a host of other items, were initially created by ancient Egyptians, whose culture had a lasting impression on the world. Indus Valley Civilization, between 3300 and 1300 BCE. Location: South Asia, modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. The Indus Valley Civilization existed. The first urban civilization in South Asia, present-day Pakistan and northwest India, was the Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harappan Civilization. The Harappans constructed a number of vast, spreading cities that are distinguished by their urban layout, sophisticated drainage systems, and high concentrations of non-residential structures. One of the first systems of standard weights and measures in the history of the world was created by the people of the Indus Valley, along with other technology. They also produced copper, bronze, lead, and tin while developing new metallurgical procedures. The Indus Valley civilization was also interested in a variety of arts and crafts in addition to mathematics and engineering. Cities from the Indus Valley civilization have also yielded a variety of toys and games. Norte Chico, 4000 BCE to 1800 BCE. Location: Peru. The Norte Chico culture, also known as Carol or Carol Soup civilization, is said to have existed in the Americas the longest. The Norte Chico people flourished from the time the first city of their civilization was established around 3500 BCE until a period of decline around 1800 BCE. Since no ceramic artifacts or remains have been discovered, the Norte Chico civilization is considered to have existed prior to the development of ceramics. However, the monumental architecture of the Norte Chico people, which includes huge earthwork platform mounds and sunken circular plazas, like the one shown above, is what sets them apart. Mesopotamia, 6500 BCE to 539 BCE. Location: Ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. Some of the earliest fully formed Neolithic cultures first appeared in the Fertile Crescent, which encompasses Mesopotamia, around 10,000 BCE. Northern Mesopotamians started growing barley and wheat around 8000 BCE, which they used to create beer, gruel, soup, and later bread. The Ubad period, c. 6500 to 3800 BCE, is when the earliest indications of civilization emerged due to the widespread adoption of agriculture and animal husbandry in sedentary populations. The Sumerians, who are recognized as the world's first urban civilization, were born as a result of this. The first people to establish trade and industries like weaving, leatherwork, metalwork, masonry, and ceramics were the Sumerians. One of the greatest triumphs of ancient Mesopotamia was the development of the wheel, which is thought to have occurred sometime about 3500 BCE and was initially employed to make pottery rather than for transportation. Jihua, 7000 BCE to 5700 BCE. Location: Henan, China. Jihua was a village in the center of the ancient Chinese plain, and its inhabitants helped shape the foundational aspects of Chinese civilization. The Jihua civilization is commonly mentioned alongside the Peligong culture due to debates among archaeologists regarding the Jihua people's inclusion in the larger Peligong culture. However, there is proof that they were two separate cultures that evolved at the same time. The Jihua population did not cultivate rice, in contrast to the Peligong, and their village existed several hundred years before the oldest Peligong ones. The Jihua are also credited with producing the oldest wine in the world and perhaps the earliest instance of Chinese writing. In addition to some of the oldest playable music, several flutes have been found there. The 16 distinct markings known as the Jihua symbols were found on archaic items, and it is believed that they were utilized as indicators rather than a system of systematic writing. Ain Ghazal, 7200 BCE to 5000 BCE. Location: Ain Ghazal, modern-day Amman, Jordan. Early farming communities like Ain Ghazal are famous for producing some of the oldest monuments of the human figure. The entire statues and busts of men, women, and children are constructed of plaster and are included in the figures. In two different caches that were located, separated by nearly 200 years, there were a total of 15 sculptures and 15 busts. The inhabitants of Ain Ghazal were farmers who domesticated wheat, barley, peas, lentils, and chickpeas in addition to making the statues. In addition, they went out and hunted gazelles, deer, pigs, foxes, and hares. The residents of Ain Guzzle have consumed a variety of foods during that time. Çatalhöyük, 7500 BCE to 5700 BCE. Location, southern Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. One of the first urban towns and one of the best preserved Neolithic sites is Çatalhöyük. The site has been excavated, and there is proof of prehistoric social structure and cultural practices there. One of the first groups of people to adopt a sedentary lifestyle and engage in agriculture was the population of Çatalhöyük. Çatalhöyük's typical population was thought to be between 5,000 and 7,000 people. Instead of having sidewalks or streets, the settlement's houses were built close together with roof access. There is proof that the residents of Çatalhöyük maintained a clean living environment and disposed of their food and waste in a location away from the settlement's ruins. In addition to burying their dead, the inhabitants of Çatalhöyük also created sculptures, painted murals, plastered and painted skulls, and carved and buried their corpses. Aboriginal Australians. 50,000 years ago, present. Location, Australia. New research indicates that Aboriginal Australians are one of the oldest known civilizations on Earth, despite the fact that Mesopotamian settlers are frequently cited as the planet's first civilization. Although the ancestors of the Aboriginal people may be traced back to roughly 75,000 years ago, it wasn't until 50,000 years ago that they emerged as a unique genetic population. Between 40,000 and 31,000 years ago, this ancient tribe of Aboriginal Australians is said to have arrived in Australia for the first time. Their culture has essentially kept the same, and they are the immediate ancestors of the current remaining Aboriginal tribes. One of the earliest known cremations may have occurred when the human remains from Lake Mungo in New South Wales, Australia, were discovered in 1969. The Mungo woman's remains have been dated to between 24,700 and 19,030 years old. San people. 140,000 to 100,000 years ago to present. Location, Southern Africa and countries such as Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and South Africa. The San people of Southern Africa can trace their origins back to prehistoric groups that inhabited the region between 140,000 and 100,000 years ago. The San are the oldest civilization in the world, since they are the direct descendants of one of the first ancestral human groupings, haplogroup. The San were semi-nomadic hunters and gatherers in the past, but they now work as farm laborers, manage natural preserves, and do other little occupations because hunting and gathering by themselves is no longer sustainable. The San are thought to have performed the first ritual ceremonies that have ever been discovered, according to recent archaeological discoveries. In a cave in the Botswana Tsodilo Hills, archaeologists found 70,000-year-old spearheads that had been offered to the python. The biggest concentration of rock paintings in the entire globe are found in the Tsodilo Hills. The ancient San people created this art as well.